everybody, I'm Nicole Ricci and I'm rolling out in my 2017 Ram Pro Master City to Frozen Head State Park in Tennessee. This is my 4th state park in Tennessee and I've been loving every single one. It is a Sunday morning and I just got out of church in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's kind of like the biggest city in between Frozen Head and Falls Creek Falls, where I just came from. So I parked at a Walmart parking lot last night and I slept really good. Praise the Lord. I have so many things to share because I think I've been learning some things. Where do I start? First of all, at church this morning, the message was about focusing on the Lord and having a hunger for God. And only He can satisfy us. And you know, for me, it's like I have a hunger for all of these things, like travel and money and a good family, a husband, like, you know, I want it all, and they're worldly things, and I just need to change my focus to the Lord and seek His kingdom. And I was honestly having a conversation with my friend Katie about this too, is like, you know, what are we seeking? You know, what are we seeking? What is our purpose? And it's to seek God, really, and then love others well and obey Him, okay? So I gotta touch you here on my steering wheel as I drive. My arm's getting tired. Okay, so that was church. What have I been learning? So I have been learning to not break rules. Sounds crazy. I kind of am a rule breaker, and some rules are stupid and like they're not really that important, or they're small things, and so oftentimes I will like just break them. But then what happens is I get a little bit scared because I'm like, well, what about the consequences for breaking the rules? Because even if the rule is stupid, and even if it's something small, sometimes there are consequences. And so then I get stressed out. You see, all my gray hairs have just been adding up like crazy recently. I think it's genetics, but part of it is also probably the stress I bring myself, because then I overthink things. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get in trouble. Why not just stop breaking the rules? Like, literally. It's like I have all this fear inside me for punishment, and I went through this last season in my van too, because you know, sometimes you just have to park places that aren't necessarily, you're not necessarily supposed to park at. But then it's like I had all this fear that something was going to happen, like I was going to get a ticket or get towed, like I don't know. But it's just like, why don't I stop breaking rules, and then I won't have to be in fear? I don't know. It seems like a simple concept, but oh, there's a dog on the road. Uh-oh. It's a cute little dog. Lost its home. Yeah, it's a simple concept, but it's actually kind of hard to live out, because sometimes it's just so much easier to break a rule. But then I'm realizing that the stress it brings me, and I literally get into my mind and like think of the worst situation, worst case scenario. I think I had said this earlier, like, this was back when I went to Door County and I was speeding, and this cop like pulled over the guy in front of me he was in front of me, but I had just passed him. Oh my gosh, sorry. I'm on some windy roads. And I've like been freaking out for weeks after that. Like, they're gonna pull up the camera and the footage and they're gonna get me, they're gonna give me a ticket. I'm like, oh my, like what the heck? Why not just not speed, Nicole? So I need help from the Lord to be obedient to the rules. But that is something I wanna do, and I don't want to live in fear. Okay. Another thing that's kind of tied into this is just like, there's as Christians, we will maybe sometimes be persecuted. And there was a season of my life where I like had felt like I was being persecuted by non-believers, and I don't think it was because I was a Christian. I think it was because I was like being rude. So I think the reason how those relates is like, be nice and obey the rules. And yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but for me, it's just like, you know, Nicole, just be nice, just be obedient. So just some simple things that I need to do. And then there was one other thing that I wanted to share. Okay, maybe two things. So one is that I've just been really settling in on the road, and it feels really good. I even have like my backpack all packed up for all my trails. I have my like mace gun with me. I have like my little first aid kit. I have my fire starter, and then I have my extra phone charger in case something, you know, were to happen. Or my phone were to die and I was lost or something. And then I do have two apps that I use to track. One is called Gaia GPS, and then I forget what the other one is actually called. Oh, I think it's All Trails stuff. Okay, so I have these 2 apps that I use to track myself, so then in case I were to lose the trail, I can find my way back to my car. So I'm like getting back into the hang of things. And then there was one other thing I wanted to tell you. Oh, it was just like recently I've also been thinking like, you know, what is it that I want? And it's really hard to make decisions. For me, I sometimes it's easy, but sometimes it's hard. Like for example, when to stay and when to go. So at my house, I was really struggling, you know, back in Madison, like, do I leave Wisconsin or do I stay in, you know, or yeah, like, do I leave or do I stay? And then even like when I was in Franklin, it's like, oh, do I stay another day with Kendall or do I leave? Or like when I'm at Rock Island State Park, should I stay another day or should I leave? It's hard decisions, but I guess I'm just gonna decide and say, hey, I'm thankful for the time that I had here, and I'm gonna move on to my next place, and I'm gonna enjoy every moment. And yeah, I think like I want to see everything, so most of the time, like, hey, I'll stay an extra day to see, you know, and do all the trails. But yeah, I've just been like really struggling with when to stay and when to go, and it's just like, make my decision and be happy, and you can always go back. And like, I think I've just put so much stress, I always stress myself out, I put so much stress on certain things, like seeing everything, and I don't need to be stressed about that. And if I don't do this whole trip across the country that I want to do, it's like, hey, look what I did do. Hey, I'm happy that I got to do all that. So that's how I'm feeling. And then the last thing is, I'm gonna start in January budgeting a little bit more, because I do have a certain amount of money. Okay, I'm at a stop sign, so I need to pause this and figure out where I'm going. Okay, I'm back. I turned right, and I only have 6 miles to finish this, which I think I'll be able to do, because then that's my next turn. So yeah, I need to do a little bit better job budgeting, because I think that I do have money to spend, and it's, you're gonna laugh at me, but I have to budget to spend money. And I had to do this. Well, I just suck because I just want to save and I want to be so cheap. But I need to budget to spend money, because like I was thinking about my Thanksgiving, which, I mean, it didn't suck, but like part of it sucked. Not eating any turkey or pie sucked. And like sitting in my van for 4 hours sucked. And I can treat myself a little bit once in a while, and I do like very rarely, but I want to be able, like, I have, not that I don't have a ton of money, I really don't, available to me right now. Maybe I'll share that when I do my budgeting, but I don't want to like live in lack, and I do have the money. Like if I wanted to get a hotel one night, I totally could afford that. If I want to take myself out to a dinner, I can do that. And I don't want to like miss out on like a $20 museum go to if I want to do that. So I just need to do a little bit better job about, yeah. I think I sometimes want to be super thrifty and cheap, which is good, because then my money goes further. And like if there are places where I can park for free instead of pay for a campsite, obviously do that. But I also don't need to suffer. You know, the thing is, I'm making my own decisions, so I just want to make decisions that I can, you know, be proud of. And I mean, I'm not sad that I'm not super bummed out that I was like in my car on Thanksgiving. You know, I made that decision, but I can make the decision to treat myself a little bit better. So that's the last thing. God's blessed me. On this Sunday, I'm headed to Frozen State Park, and I'm gonna hit the trails, and I'm so excited. Hello, I made it to Frozen Head State Park, and I'm actually at the top of, I think it's called Frozen Head Mountain, and there's a lookout tower up here, kind of like I was at yesterday in Falls Creek Falls, and I'm looking at this beautiful view of the Smoky Mountains back there, which I'll be headed to in a few days. It's the next day, and I'm at Frozen Head State Park. I'm doing another long trail, and I'm really tired already. I started at about 9 a.m. It's the Bird Mountain Loop Trail. And so I think it's like 13 miles altogether, and it's up mountains. I'm using my trekking poles. Shout out to my parents who got them for me for Christmas last year. This is like the first time that I've used them, which is kind of crazy because it's like a year later. I need to rest my arm because these trekking poles make my arms tired. Yeah, so I guess like last January, February, March, I was volunteering at those camps. And then April through September, I was in Alaska guiding older people, so we didn't really do intense hikes where I would need trekking poles. And then here we are, and now I'm using them as I hike mountains. So they work really great. I like them. Thank you to Lexi for helping my parents pick them out, my mom. Also, Lexi helped me pick out my hiking boots. Can you see them? I forget the brand. I think it's like Loa. She helped me get these last summer, so like just like a year and a half ago now. and they're really good. I've used these all the time, and I just really love them. So I'm just feeling thankful for those things. And then also this coat, shout out to Kendall, and it was her roommate's Brooks. So back to her. Like everything since I've left Nashville has been hers that I've been wearing. I wanted to get on here. First of all, Frozen Head State Park hasn't been that beautiful. I just haven't been impressed with the views. Even I read that online, especially this time of year. The trees are all dead, the leaves are fallen, but it's just really good hikes. Like my body's feeling good. It's nice to get my heart rate up. It's nice to be like hiking mountains. So that's why I'm still here. But I will be headed out today. Anyhow, I wanted to say, because a couple vlogs ago, I was talking about emotions and how, you know, we can't let them overtake us. And yet now I'm listening to this sermon about how, like, experiences can overpower the truth. Like, if we have a God encounter, like, people can tell us things that, like, make sense. But for us, it's like, no, look at my experience. Like, so I think there's a balance. I don't understand the balance, but there is a balance because, like, obviously God gives us experiences and like emotional encounters that don't make sense to us. So yeah, that's kind of backtracking what I said of like how we really need to focus on the truth and not just be overtaken by our emotions. But yet there's going to be experiences that God brings us that we can't explain with our own knowledge. So yeah, that's just my thought on that. So much to learn, but I'm really thankful that I get to listen to sermons as I hike. I want to start just like playing scripture. So maybe I'll do that too. But like, I haven't seen anyone all morning. Yesterday I saw a total of 2 people while hiking all day long. I really feel like I have this whole forest to myself, which has been the theme of my entire, I feel like, Tennessee State Park journey. Anyways, I'm gonna keep on hiking. All right, so my day in Frozen had ended, and I treated myself to a Hardee's chicken sandwich and burger for dinner after that long hike. The reason being is I had camped at a Dollar General parking lot the night before and slept terrible. It was right next to a really busy road, and the Dollar General happened to be next to a Hardee's, so I logged into the Hardee's Wi-Fi and got some coupons. So I actually ate there for breakfast and for dinner. Anyhow, this is the end to my Frozen Head vlog. I'll also add a little bit of a day spent going around Knoxville. The next day after that hike, I was pretty tired, so I just stopped in Knoxville for the day, walked around the University of Tennessee campus, walked around the downtown area, and went to the Blue Plate like little radio show. So that was cool. But yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!